Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things underneath through a common sense lens. And we know, obviously, with like the Avengers Doomsday and all of that kind of stuff coming up, and the Secret Wars, and it was kind of all assumed that they were going to kind of basically essentially throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at these movies as far as bringing back actors and actresses and having all of these characters come together. And I honestly believe Secret Wars is going to be Feige's excuse to eliminate heroes and characters that aren't working inside of the MCU and move forward with different things and possibly different versions, or maybe returning to some old forms out there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, one of those old forms that is indeed returning and has now been confirmed after the absolutely insane and stupid and ridiculously long Marvel announcement they did yesterday for all of the cast for Avengers Doomsday. Well, guess what? Some legends are indeed reappearing, boys and girls, because the X-Men are coming back to the MCU. And it is a glorious thing, ladies and gentlemen, because as you can see over here from thatparkplace.com, X-Men finally coming to Marvel. Studio confirms Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, and more returning to the MCU. And in case you were one of those folks out there that had no desire to sit there for literally, hours upon hours at the absolute insane drudgery that was Marvel's slow roll announcement for the entire cast out there, something literally trying to keep people captivated for hours upon end. Well, we've got the entire list over here at cosmicbook.news because our dear sweet Matt McGloin did indeed sit there and watch throughout the entire thing. But like I said, one of the big things I want to highlight with all of this is the fact that the X-Men are returning, and these aren't just X-Men from like new class. No, boys and girls, these are X-Men from the original Fox movies out there that a lot of fans really enjoyed and loved. So we're going to check out these articles. We're going to give you the full list of the breakdown of all the characters that have now been revealed for the, of course, Avengers Doomsday movie out there. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 1,700. We're on our way to 1,800, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Does it make you excited to see a lot of these classic characters that so many fans knew and loved as these X-Men heroes out there and villains, and to see them actually return on the big screen? Do you think Marvel's going to completely and totally screw this up, or do you think they're actually going to be true to form and give us something very similar to what we got with Deadpool and Wolverine? Let us know what you think about that in the comment section down below. And if you'd like to support this channel, please check out the links in the description as well. So we'll start over here at thatparkplace.com and then quickly jump over to the other link over here at Cosmic Book News. But I do love both of these guys and how they do all this kind of stuff. And then, of course, we also have, we've got everybody. We'll go through the entire list. After hours of what many online have dubbed one of the most tedious and overlong Marvel announcement videos in recent memory, something finally managed to break through the fog of mediocrity. The confirmed return of Kelsey Grammer, Patrick Stewart, Alan Cumming, Rebecca Romijn, and Ian McKellen to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, officially bringing the X-Men into the MCU. Yes, you read that right. In a sea of Z-list introductions and awkward promotion, the revelation that all 5 veteran actors would reprise their iconic X-Men roles gave longtime fans a rare reason to sit up and pay attention. And like I said, this is something going in the right direction. Hopefully it's a good thing. And yeah, I saw this go off yesterday and I was like, really? Take a seat. They were literally slow rolling out one every 15 minutes. It was absolutely insane. It was stupid. And I highlighted, scrolled through things. I was like, is this just a bunch of chairs in a row, or there's actually any people in this? No people, just a giant long list of chairs. So broadcast live on X, the event has featured a single camera trained on a quiet set with director's chairs. Every 15 minutes or so, the camera dramatically pulls back to reveal another chair emblazoned with a new name. Most of them either unfamiliar, unremarkable, some unlikable as well, or downright confusing. It's a painfully slow drip feed of content that seems more suited to avant-garde performance art than a multi-billion-dollar entertainment franchise. Yeah, I mean, literally, when you think of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, at least especially during the good times before the dark times, right? It was one of those situations where you thought of explosions and action-packed and great jokes and great interactions with characters and great character development and stuff like that. And you're like, literally, you're going to show a new chair every 15 minutes? Like, God bless the people like Matt McGloin and some of the rest of these guys out there that sat and actually watched that thing for the entire time, because y'all are way more hardcore than all of the rest of us out there. All right, so let's just go over here and jump through the list of everybody we've got. Obviously, we already talked about Patrick Stewart, Kelsey Grammer, and everybody else. So let's just go ahead and go through the whole list over here. So the official Avengers account on X confirms the video announcement is about the cast of Avengers Doomsday, which looks to start filming soon in London. The Russos are airing the video live on their social media as well. The Russos also recently hinted the next Avengers movies marks a new beginning for the MCU, which could mean a reboot. And this is something I have speculated on for quite a few years since the announcement came out that they were, or well, since the rumors were running around that they were going to do Avengers, they were going to do Secret Wars and all of that kind of stuff. And obviously, I'm not the only one. There's a bunch of people that were speculating about this. Matt, with his inside sources, we're talking about all this kind of stuff. This is going to be an excuse for them to clean house, right? They're going to throw every character that you've ever seen in the MCU that they can possibly get a hold of that's still living, breathing, and willing to walk right back in there and take their BS and take their money. They're going to throw it all in there just so that way they can erase all of the stuff that either is not working or is from the old universes. And who knows, maybe they'll keep some of this stuff around with them bringing everybody in. But it sounds like it's going to be like some kind of major incursion thing kind of going on, that the X-Men universe from like the Fox stuff is going to get pulled in and starts getting ready to go smash with like the current MCU, with all the kind of stuff that we know with Disney, Marvel, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens, but that's just the kind of speculation. So we're literally going to see worlds collide with this. And like I said, the X-Men are back, boys and girls, and I think that's a great thing personally. So, this is the entire list. If you weren't there, if you weren't crazy enough to sit there and list off the entire stuff, and of course, we're going to give our opinions on a few of these going forward here, but this is the entire list of everybody they confirmed yesterday that will be appearing in Avengers Doomsday, and this is an insanely large cast. I'd imagine these battles are going to be absolutely epic if the Russo brothers do this right, which they've done all the good stuff in the past, so we'll see what happens. So, Chris Hemsworth, who plays Thor, that was the first one you saw on the very list. Vanessa Kirby, who plays Sue Storm, aka Invisible Woman in Fantastic Four. Shouldn't be really much of a shocker there. A lot of people expect Doom to kind of show up, at least in some point in the Fantastic Four movie, if not be a major player. Anthony Mackie, who plays Sam Wilson, Falcon, Captain America. Obviously, that's not really a shocker there, except for the fact that obviously that movie completely and totally turned into a disastrous dumpster fire at the box office. Not as bad as the Marvels, definitely not as bad as Snow White, but it's clear the audience does not want Sam Wilson as Captain America. It didn't work in the comics. It's not going to work in the movies. At some point, you're going to have to get back to true Captain America, boys and girls. Sebastian Stan, who plays the Winter Soldier and next appears in Thunderbolts. We all love Sebastian Stan. It was completely and totally screwed up that you didn't give Bucky the shield and instead jumped it directly into the Sam Wilson arc. Everybody expected Bucky to get it. You completely unscrewed the pooch, but of course this was during Disney's giant push for diversity, inclusion, and equity, and that's exactly what the Captain Black America movie was. Paul Rudd, who plays Ant-Man, not really a shocker there, and it was cute. I did see some of the clips. They did a little chair for him. Wyatt Russell, who plays John Walker, U.S. agent. I mean, who, right? And that's kind of the problem with that. This is from like an MCU television show that a lot of people didn't watch. So this is kind of some of those Z-list characters that they were kind of highlighting over there on that Park Place. Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri, Black Panther, really cool chick. I like her. She's one of the ones that came out against the Poke and was like questioning and all of that kind of stuff. Got a lot of backlash for it and stood by her guns. So yeah, shout out to her. Glad to see her back. But of course, you know what I mean? They're eventually going to have to recast T'Challa and give us another actual Black Panther. Ebon Moss-Bachrach, who plays the Thing in Fantastic Four. This one kind of wilds me. Naruto Meha, who plays Namor. You know, the completely and totally bastardized, screwed up version of Namor. Yeah, Namor. That was in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Right, yeah, that one. For some reason, he's coming back, especially with all the controversy and stuff he had. That's kind of surprising, but guess what? I guess Disney worked it all out with him, so whatever. Simu Liu, who plays Shang-Chi, obviously in the movie that didn't do very well at the box office and all of that kind of stuff, but hey, he's coming back. And like I said, I firmly believe that Kevin Feige will use this as an excuse to clear house and take out characters that aren't working in the current MCU. So it shouldn't surprise you that a lot of these people from not necessarily so successful projects are going to be involved with it. Florence Pugh, the absolutely beautiful woman, especially when she doesn't have the bull ring in her nose, who plays Yelena, appears in Thunderbolts. Obviously, we all know about that one as well. And it's one of those situations where the Thunderbolts, like, the trailers keep making me want to like this movie. I don't think it's going to do very well at the box office, but the trailers and all the teasers make me want to like this movie. So we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll end up being good. Who knows? It can surprise us all. Now, this is one of the big ones, right? The X-Men right here. Kelsey Grammer, who is an absolutely incredible actor. I love the stuff he's done. I loved Frasier. I loved everything else he's done. He was an absolutely incredible Hank McCoy. Did a really, really good job with it. So I'm super excited about this one. Like I said, the X-Men are coming back, boys and girls. We're going to get our proper beast again. It's going to be a beautiful thing. Sue plays Dr. Hank McCoy, aka the X-Men's Beast, and was last seen in the Marvel's post-credit scene. You know, that movie that nobody saw, but that's okay. The post-credit scene got leaked out on the internet. We all got to see him back as Hank McCoy, which was a beautiful thing. Yes, give us our big blue beast. Lewis Pullman, who was playing Robert Reynolds, aka the Sentry. That makes sense for the Sentry. He's a huge power player character to come in. Danny Ramirez, who plays Joaquin Torres, aka the Falcon, also from a movie that most people didn't see, aka Captain America, Brave New World. Joseph Quinn, Johnny Storm, Human Torch, that makes sense. David Harbour, Red Guardian, next appears in Thunderbolts. He's in the current thing, so it makes sense, but also not a character very many people know about. Winston Duke, who plays Mukbuka from the Black Panther movies. Really? You're bringing this guy in as well? Hannah Jo Common, who plays Ghost and next appears in the Thunderbolts. Tom Hiddleston returning as Loki. I'm sure all of you ladies out there will absolutely love that one. All of like the 1% of you that watch my videos. Patrick Stewart, ladies and gentlemen, aka Professor X, aka Charles Xavier himself, ladies and gentlemen, and that is a glorious thing. Patrick Stewart is an incredible actor. He's always done an incredible job. Obviously, we all loved him from the Star Trek days, and then he just absolutely crushed it in the X-Men movies as our dear sweet Professor X. It's just a beautiful thing. The interactions between him and Logan, aka Wolverine, were absolutely wonderful the entire time. Obviously, the Logan movie was incredible. Patrick Stewart did a really good job. The only thing I'm worried about this one is Patrick Stewart is really old. And for anybody out there that decided to take a chance and after hearing from people that Picard season 3 was good, all you got to do is watch that, right? Like even season 1 of Picard, which I did actually give a shot for because I love Patrick Stewart, like homeboy is old, ladies and gentlemen, and you can see it in his acting. But you know what? He does an incredible job. It'll probably make sense. It'll be exciting to see him back. So this is something that I think is really going to draw a lot of people in. Of course, Ian McKellen can't have Patrick Stewart without Ian McKellen, who plays our wonderful Magneto as well. I mean, just an absolute spot-on casting. Was so well done, so well acted, so well performed. And those movies, I absolutely love Ian McKellen. I mean, that scene where he's explaining what happened to him in the camps and everything else, and he's going through all of that and just talking to people about it and letting them know, and the interactions between him and Patrick Stewart in that movie, they were just so well done. It doesn't surprise me those two are best friends in the real world. It does not surprise me at all. And then, of course, our wonderful Catholic, the man who helped convert Wolverine to Christianity himself, Alan Cumming, a.k.a. Nightcrawler, boys and girls. That is absolutely wonderful. I've loved the Nightcrawler character since the X-Men animated series back in the 90s. He's always been fun to play in the video games. I think he was kind of broken in the X-Men game, but I absolutely loved him. He does a great job, and like somebody else commented in one of the other articles, I think over on thatparkplace.com, and maybe he'll get more than one action scene this time. It would be nice. I'd also like to see a little bit of his Catholicism and his faith in God a little more upped on all of that kind of stuff as well. That would be wonderful. Another one that's absolutely going to make the fans super, super happy. Rebecca Romange, who played Mystique from the original X-Men movies. Yes, boys and girls, that gorgeous and stunning woman. Wrong article. Right over here, they've got some wonderful pictures for. Yes, she is going to be back as well, and I think that is going to be a marvelous thing. This is going to make everybody, especially that horrible male chud gaze audience, they're going to love it. No one's going to complain because, trust me, we looked up some pictures before on this as well. Homegirl still looks really good. So, absolutely. And then, of course, James Marsden, who played Cyclops in the original X-Men movies. You know, the guy who made the joke to Wolverine? Well, what would you prefer, yellow spandex? I literally remember sitting in the theaters watching that movie going, yes, that's exactly what we wanted, was yellow spandex. Fortunately enough, Deadpool and Wolverine did indeed finally give us the classic costume out there, and it was just chef's kiss. So hopefully we're going to get a very similar interaction, a very similar thing used for all of these characters out there as well, because I think that's going to be a glorious thing. And one of the new recent additions to the X-Men, Channing Tatum himself, who played Gambit obviously in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, and although his accent was intentionally hammed up, this is a character that Channing Tatum has been wanting to play forever. He loves Gambit, and it all ended up in production hell, and it never ended up happening. And look, now we're going to get to see him brought back again because the fans really did enjoy it, and I'm glad to see that happen as well. Pedro Pascal, unfortunately, is playing Reed Richards in Fantastic Four, and I'm just really sick of seeing Pedro Pascal in absolutely everything. I can't stand him anymore. And of course, Robert Downey Jr., who obviously we all know is playing Dr. Doom. Video confirms Avengers Doomsday is now in production. So that's the list, boys and girls. That's everything we've got so far. The X-Men are back in the MCU, ladies and gentlemen, and I, for one, am here for that. I have been cautiously optimistic about a lot of the projects that Disney Marvel has been working on over the last few years, because we've heard about the changes going on behind the scenes. We've heard about the termination of all of the activist producers and executives. That's what they called them from the insiders out there, and we've seen some of the results of that. Has Daredevil Born Again been perfect? No, but it's a whole hell of a lot better than pretty much anything else the MCU has put out since like Loki Season 1 or WandaVision. I mean, pretty much everything else has been trash garbage, and at least Daredevil Born Again's good. It's not great, but it's good. The problem is there's always been so much damage done to a lot of the MCU. It's going to take a long time for Marvel to take back its crown as one of the #1 guaranteed kind of box office blockbusters, because they have done a lot of damage to their brand. We have been through an entire phase. We have been through years of disastrous dumpster fire at the box office after disastrous dumpster fire on the streaming services with the ratings as well. Marvel is in a very, very bad place. And it does indeed sound like they are going to throw everything, and including the kitchen sink, into Avengers Doomsday, and thus leading into Avengers Secret Wars. And I do firmly believe this is going to be Feige's one chance to fix what has happened over the last few years. Get rid of the insufferable characters like the Marvels, which for some reason were absent off this list, but that's for another video, boys and girls. You know, all of the rest of these kind of characters, the ones that are just absolutely insufferable, that nobody can absolutely stand. You talk about all the failed television shows. I mean, all the Skrull stuff that happened with Secret Invasion and all of that kind of nonsense. You can get rid of all those characters. You can bring them in, and you can even give them a heroic death. They're going to go out fighting Doom, boys and girls. But of course, we'll get all the activists from the cult out there that'll freak out and have meltdowns. But this is what's going to happen. Things have to change inside of Marvel. And the best part about it, boys and girls, for any of us that were fans of the X-Men, hey, if for nothing else, literally throwing the entire kitchen sink in there includes getting some of the best actors that we have ever seen portray X-Men roles in the history of cinema, and they are going to come back in a big way, and I cannot wait to see it. If they screw this up and just make this some kind of BS cameo, I'm going to be very upset. I, for one, hope they play a very integral part in these stories, and we get to see them get the time to shine that they properly deserve inside of the MCU. So at least from this humble common nerd, this humble Marvel fan out there, let me be one of the first, hopefully not the last, to say welcome back, X-Men. We are glad to have you back in the MCU where you properly belong, and I cannot wait to see these actors reprise their roles, and hopefully we'll have some good Marvel going forward. But at the end of the day, Disney, you did this to yourself, and you will get exactly what you deserve. So make the smart decision and make the fans happy. Don't screw this up. You're out of chances.